lesson earned.
There's a wine glass right behind her foot.
Ooh,
Val.
Val, watch out with the wine glass right behind you.
Watch out for the wine glass. It's not mine.
Here, I'll take it.
Thank you so much, darling.
Give me that, I'll drink it.
Stop muttering. No, you're not going to.
Tough crowd.
Because you don't know.
Aww.
See, it doesn't work unless you...
Yes, it does. I would like to make a quick announcement. No matter what Nancy and Craig think, this is the real story of Andy Gale, our birthday celebrant.
I'm Jeff. This is Val.
Hi.
Hi, Val.
Hi.
Some years ago, on the occasion of Brownier's birthday, Valerie and I were among those invited to do a little something to mark the occasion. What we came up with was an entirely fictitious story about her origins, which stretched back to the occupation of Britain by the Romans.
That was one of my favorite parts.
So here we are again, as apparently it went well, was well received, and we've been volunteered,
Dressed
urged,
very strongly
Shanghai,
into honoring Andy. But first we thought it would be helpful to explain his oranges.
Mortgages?
His mortgages.
You do it.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Oh, they've got it.
Okay.
Andy's a modest fellow, doesn't toot his own horn, nor does he talk much at all, but fortunately Valerie had an opportunity to catch him off guard in Mexico, where they spent an evening swilling down brandy.
Oh, just wait a second, I'll tell the story, Joe. Okay, so Ronnie and Andy invited several people to join them for a holiday trip to Mexico. Now, I didn't get the memo that said everybody else was backing out, so I was the only one that showed up. So one night, after Bronnie had gone to bed, Andy and I sat up chatting while drinking a fabulous bottle of Paradis cognac. As I noticed the bottle was empty and thought, well, I'm going to be dead tomorrow anyway, so it doesn't matter, I might as well ask him the question. Andy, I said, do you like Mongoling? And he said, huh? And I said, is it fun being a Mongol? And he said, yeah. And that's how I knew he was a Mongol.
Are you sure that's what you want? Is that what you...
Mongrel?
No.
Mongol.
No.
Mongoose.
No. Mogul.
Could you just show me the definitions, please?
Valerie told me the story, and I said to myself, what does she really mean? Mogul. So I looked it up, and here are the definitions. Definition: mogul. A steam engine with a locomotive with two pairs of driving wheels and whatever
Smaller
it
wheels
says
in
there.
front.
Yeah. That didn't appear to be it, no. 2, definition.
A bump on a ski slope formed by the repeated turns of skiers over the path.
And
No.
We want to be there.
A Mongol, definition, then B, explanation, then C,
no, go.
go, next.
In the 13th century, okay, well, if you were a speed reader, you could see what that said.
So, picture Genghis Khan, then a map of Mongolia. Ben, come on. Map of Mongolia.
It didn't happen.
Okay.
Right.
All right, imagine Mongolia.
But it's a delightful map of
But it's a
Mongolia.
delightful map of Ulaanbaatar. Then next,
Next.
Very flat in Mongolia.
There.
I maintain that if you think about it,
Take a look.
don't rush.
You're
If you put a hat on Andy and glasses on Genghis Khan,
And skis was the
Or, the last definition, the Great Mogul, whatever that says.
Emperor of
And-
Delhi. Yeah.
There
There
we
we
go.
go. And that was Andy.
and then there's Mongoose. No, we knew that wasn't right. So after Andy explained all that to me and I knew what a Mongol was, thank you, good night.
No, wait, there's more.
Oh,
How did he become a mogul?
I don't know.
Okay,
Mongol.
I'll tell you. Andy was born
Say it again.
Andy was born in Yonkers, New York, a quiet bedroom community near New York City, most famously known as the setting for Thornton Wilder's best-known plays.
The matchmaker.
Yeah, Yonkers is setting up the Merchant of Yonkers.
The merch which became
Very good.
Hello, Dolly.
That's right.
Oh, I just like that show so much. You remember the part where she came out?
Well, everything was going along swimmingly until one day, when Andy was about 2 years old,
Cute.
an evil kid down the block who had just gotten a conjurer's set cast a spell on little Andy, and poof, he disappears.
He was instantly transported to 19th century India.
Hi.
Oh, boy.
Here comes audio.
Where he landed in Delhi.
Well, that was very lucky.
Why?
He loves Delhi.
He loves Delhi.
Hello, Delhi. Hello, Delhi.
Lieutenants in the service of the Great Mogul, Larry and Kevin,
Larry, Kevin.
were surprised when they looked around and saw the sudden appearance of a blonde-haired child.
Word got around. Now, the last great mogul and his beautiful wife were childless, bereft.
And sad.
So, they took Andy and raised him as their own. Andy's calm, even temperament seemed to take this all in stride.
He was raised in splendor. Nothing would be spared.
He had the best teachers. Spirituality, martial arts, and funny hats. And
The Great Mogul's nephew, who seemed to be, according to this photo, displaced in favor of the little blonde boy, was,
There we go.
yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead.
He had his own zoo to play in. Andy was schooled in the sport of
Very
camp,
skillfully photoshopped.
but something was wrong. Despite all his advantagements,
Is that a new word?
all his advantages, something was missing.
Still wrong.
One day, while he and the gang were taking his elephant, Fetch, for a walk,
I'm sorry. What was the elephant's name?
the elephant's name was Fetch, some strangers land in nearby asking for directions. Here they are landing. We're lost.
Andy says.
Andy says, let me show you.
It's easier if I show you. It's easier if I show you. And he hops into the basket.
meanwhile, the little dog hops out of the basket.
Why does he hop out of the basket? I don't know.
Contact lens, I don't know. And the little girl runs after him. And in the confusion, the balloon takes off, flying up, up, into the sky, leaving Delhi far behind.
Oh.
The winds of chance blew them hither and thither, to and fro.
Even yonder.
Long, far away. Oh, Canada, North Korea. Up through the freezing Pacific Chocolate Peninsula where the vodka comes from. And
Oklahoma!
So, little Andy is taken in by a kindly Indian family who are on hiatus.
next slide. He's taken in by a kindly Indian family who are on hiatus from the Buffalo Bill Wild West show, where he learns even more skills. Everyone in the show did more than one turn.
And here he is in the Buffalo Bill Cowboy Band as the lead pickleist. While the show's on tour in New York,
Andy's father happens by and sees the young man with a red circle around him and exclaims, "That's my son! The boy with a red circle around him!"
and so they were reunited in Yonkers.
Andy enjoyed a certain celebrity due to his extensive travels through time and space. Having had a slight showbiz background, he was cast in a number of little theater productions. Here he is in Timon of Athens.
And whenever Indians of any sort came through town, they were always treated royally and given a tour of Grant's tomb.
As you can plainly see in this entirely authentic photograph.
He went to Deerfield Academy, then went to Amherst College.
Val picked this photograph.
I thought it was pretty.
It's not accurate.
Grant's tomb, Jeffrey, Grant's tomb.
Like many college student graduates, when he finished school, he went to work at a restaurant. So here we have this handsome young man, still undecided about his future, what to do.
So he joins the Air Force and then leaves the Air Force.
When he discovers he loves flying, but doesn't enjoy doing the driving.
And then there was this small matter of his off-duty garb.
Still uncertain of his future, he decides to try acting once again. The high point was being hired as a dinner guest in the film of Hello, Dolly, starring Walter Matthau and Barbara Streisand.
I just love that movie. Remember when she came down the stairs?
No. His career was cut short when they saw the dailies, where he stuck out like a sore thumb. He was told, in the classic phrase, "You'll never work in this town again." And then he went to Harvard Business School. And upon graduation, he used the skills he'd acquired to save small companies that were failing. His first attempt was a company that made outdoor clothes dryers.
An idea whose time had gone. He came so close.
Go again. So, back to the drawing board.
He joined the Tom Thumb Company, makers of cash registers and teeny tiny typewriters.
Look at that tie.
He
reorganized their finances.
We're almost through.
And soon business was booming.
Blooming.
And they're beginning a long line of successions of successful businesses. Warnaco, Magnatech, New York Stock Exchange, Branya and Andy on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange.
These companies were listed in the NYSE and here on the floor of the exchange in a moment of triumph. we see Mr. and Mrs. Gay. Life was good.
Go, go, go. Go, Ben.
Go, Ben,
The
Ben.
young Bronya.
Jeff,
Go, Ben.
Go, Ben. Just keep going, Ben.
Jeff, do you remember when we were walking around in Paris that wonderful winter day?
You mean when I was
Never mind.
You went channeling over to the lake, yeah, that time. Well, and we were both so pleased that we hadn't forgotten our French, and we were actually being understood and communicating. Well, except for the tobacco incident.
Oh, no. No, you're going to really tell us
Yeah,
story
I
again?
am. So Jeffrey said, I'm going to go and get a refill for my gas lighter, and I'm going to say, Bonjour, madame, je voudrais acheter un petit ascenseur avec un bouton rouge. I said, don't say that, Jeffrey. He said, but that's what I want. Well, the bottom line was that he was asking for an elevator.
Ascenseur.
With a red
Elevator.
button.
Essence is gas.
Yes. And the woman kept saying no. J'ai pas les ascenseurs. Avec les boutons rouges, oui, vert, oui, rouge.
Okay.
So how did you actually learn
I
French?
don't think we're on the right slide. There we go.
Next.
That's
Next.
better.
Next.
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 I don't know.
Here we are in France. Okay, next, back, next.
Oh, we go.
So,
Jeff.
Jeff, how did you learn to speak French?
Oh, well, that was because of a teacher I had in the 2nd grade, Mrs. Ruth Nerthart. I was having difficulty learning to read. So Mrs. Nerthart took me out of the classroom during nap time when everybody rolled out their little mats and went to sleep in the afternoon. And she taught me French in the hallway while all the other kids were snoozing. She had the inspiration to teach me a Latin-based language that followed the rules. I learned to read English, this is true, by first learning to read French. I am, I'm sorry, it really means something to me. Forever indebted to her. I loved her, and then and now. Also, she was Austrian. She had long blonde hair and drove a Porsche, and her husband was a psychiatrist. He drove a Porsche too. What a pair.
Well, Jeff, I had a teacher like that too, a man named Philip Burton, who started out teaching poetry and math in a small school in Wales. He later adopted a young boy named Richard Jenkins, taking him from the coal mine, giving him schooling, and his name, Burton. But the special gift Mr. Burton gave me was a way to manage my stuttering, giving me his time, enabling me to speak Shakespeare's words and not just read them to myself. He was cool too. He knew 21 Shakespearean plays by heart. No Porsche though.
Wow.
So many of us had the luck.
That's me.
Oh.
Sorry, I'll just do that. Many of us had the luck and joy of having a teacher who inspired us and made a difference in our lives.
Many of us, but not all, were lucky. That lucky. Some of our teachers were inspired. Had a natural gift. Teachers who took time, had patience, and a desire to leap over the curriculum.
Andy and Bronya carried that idea to the next level and started the Galef Institute with a program called DWAP, or Different Ways of Knowing. This program taught teachers new methods of teaching, combining multiple studies, such as math, for example, art and music. Okay, picture a Picture a triangle, okay? There's the math. Now paint it yellow. There's the art. Now, trace it in the air, and you're conducting in 3/4 waltz time. This method was introduced in schools K through 6 in 29 states.
It's pretty impressive. And there are lots and lots of teachers and children whose lives have been enriched by this program who will never meet our host and hostess.
So aren't we all the lucky ones? Here's to you, Andy, and to Bronya too. Raise our glasses to you both. Happy birthday. We love you.
You're here. Desert.